Hello, Frontstretch family, and welcome back to another edition of Grassroots Rundown. I'm Chase Folsom, this time with Anthony Damcott, and we are live at Cordele Speedway for the Cars Tour's first trip to the state of Georgia. We saw a pretty good night of racing here at Cordele with both the pro late models and late model stock cars. First trip down to the Peach State. What did you think of the atmosphere here?
Oh my gosh, I mean, obviously it was amped up by a certain presence of one Dale Earnhardt Jr., but man, the fans really showed up today. You could feel the electricity in the atmosphere from the second that we got here. And the drivers that we talked to tonight said that they loved it here. Definitely hope that we come back to this place because this was all around, I think, one of the true grassroots tracks. And I know it's kind of a drive from where we're used to in North Carolina, but I'm really glad they made the drive out here because this is a wonderful facility, great people, great fans. Like I said, they showed out today, and great racing. What more could you ask for?
Yeah, I'm going to echo pretty much everything that Anthony said there. Beautiful facility. We even have the picturesque watermelon fields in the background that Doug Barnes took a quick trip to mid-race. That was an interesting visual. I thought the fans showed out great. I've heard that this was a really good crowd for here. Obviously, the Dale Jr. effect was in play, but still pretty close to a sellout, I think we had. Really stacked entry list, especially for the pro late model. So I think there's definitely something to build on if they want to come back here. Now we can get to the actual racing because it could have been better. I will not lie. We'll start up front. Connor Hall and Mini Tyrrell, they put on a show. That was a great battle at the front all night long. Mini led most of the race, but Connor Hall got him towards the end. I think if we had had a long run, Mini probably had the better car. But it didn't really play out that way, and Connor Hall picks up his second win of the year.
Yeah, and I talked to Connor after the race, and he said that he thought that Mini had the faster car throughout the night. So you aren't the only one to think that Mini probably could have ran him down. Yeah, overall, great battle up front. I mean, that was, again, in the spirit of where we are with Cordele, it was a true short track battle. It's what Grassroots is all about. Really respectful racing between two veterans of the short track world. Really, really cool to see Connor Hall come out on top here. He was one of the ones that echoed that the atmosphere of Cordele was so nice, so great. But yeah, overall, that was 125 laps of pure racecraft from both drivers. And again, you know, that kind of racing, what more could you ask for between, especially two veterans like Connor and Mini?
Mini said that same thing. If he had just gotten a long run at the end of the race, he felt like he could have had him. We almost had one, but right as they were about to catch lap traffic, and then the spree of caution started. So we will shift to that. That can be cleaned up in the future, and I will just start with the fact of why are we missing shifts in 2025? This is something that has to be cleaned up because it looks bad on the series when 5 different guys, I think, missed a shift tonight. Yeah, it's a dinosaur of a transmission, and I'm not the one driving the car, so I can only say so much about it. But at the same time, you're at probably the highest, if not second highest level of grassroots short track racing in this country. You can't be missing shifts at this level because it puts a stain on the series, it puts a stain on the product that's on the racetrack, and it costs a lot of money. I mean, TJ DeCare missing a shift from the front row in the pro late model race junked 6, 7, 8 race cars. Those cars are not going to see the track for months, if ever again. So that's something that has to be cleaned up, and we got to stop running so many caution laps, and I will let you elaborate on that one.
Yeah, so I'll touch on the missed shifts real quick. This is far from the first occasion we've seen this for the Cars Tour. The last Cars Tour race that I covered was the rain date for North Wilkesboro, which was in August, and we saw a similar thing in the late model stocks. We saw someone miss a shift. It was a race winner actually, Trayton Lapsovich. He missed a shift, sacked up the whole field, junked a bunch of cars. You know, a lot of guys are saying, I just don't understand how we're still missing shifts, and it's the same thing this year. And you know, it was in the pros and the stocks. It was all around the board. There was a lot of people missing shifts. People, you know, young, like, you know, pro late model winner Tristan McKee went out in the late model stock race, missed a shift, ran out of gas immediately afterwards, caused a big crash. Carson Lofton, same thing. That ended up ending Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s day. So it's far from the first time, and it's you know, I talked to Connor about it. He just, you know, it's the perfect storm lack of experience and the way that these cars drive. So it's really unfortunate, and you're right, they do need to clean it up. It is something that that does put a stain on the racing, even the great racing up front that we saw. So yeah, it is unfortunate that we're still dealing with missed shifts. But yes, man, caution laps tonight were rough. There were a lot of times where a single car spin resulted in probably it felt like
Way
20.
too many.
It felt like 20. But I'm sure it was probably still in the range of 10, which is still kind of unacceptable. And we see this in NASCAR too. But like tonight in the car store, it was really bad because, there were times like I think it was Michael Hind who spun.
Single car spin, by the way.
Yes.
Like, this did not require extensive cleanup.
Yes, it was a single car spin, and I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, he immediately got it back going again too. So, and we were sitting down right down there in front of Victory Lane. We were wondering why we're still under yellow. What happened? Now, sometimes we had a lot of stalled cars tonight as well. That was an issue too. A lot of cars that broke down, stalled, mechanical issues that extended the yellows. But my goodness, I mean, in a series where caution laps thankfully don't count,
Yes.
it gives them the freedom to run as many laps as they want. Tonight, I think we went a little bit too far, and we went too far in the sense that it felt like we were dragging on.
Yeah. There needs to be a number. I'm curious to see how the series addresses this issue, because it's now a repeating issue, so it's not the first time we've seen this. Some of the guys have suggested, stopping the race each time, just put it under red, figure out the running order, and get us back going. I understand from a driver's standpoint why that makes sense, because you're not going to burn off fuel. However, the fans at home are going to get bored of that. The fans in the stands are going to get bored of that. I think there just needs to be a number, whether that's 50 caution laps, whether that's 40, 60s. We shouldn't be getting to 75, ever. But at that point in time, let them all come down and put fuel in it. That's fair. It's a fair way to police it. That way you don't have anybody playing games with the fuel. If they choose not to put fuel in their car and they run out, that's on them, because they were given a fair and equal opportunity to do so.
And you also mentioned, some drivers suggested red flags, which that showed its hand tonight as well. I think we had like 4 red flags combined across the 2 series tonight. I mean, folks, this race started around 7 o'clock when the pro late models took the green flag. It's currently 1:04 a.m. So, to get through 225 laps of late model racing with all the cautions, and we had, like I said, like 4 red flags. One of them, again, was for a single car spin, and then someone dropped fluid, and it felt like we had like a 30-minute red flag to clean it up. Yeah. And that was in the pro late model race. I mean, the stocks didn't even get on the track until close to 10:30.
Which is unacceptable when you're trying to keep a streaming audience entertained.
Exactly. So they need to figure out a system to make these races go faster. I mean, obviously, starting earlier is an option, but that doesn't change how many laps we run under caution. Doesn't change the amount of time we take on a red flag.
And it may not be a popular option either. I'm sure there's people that wouldn't like that. One guy that actually mentioned it was Dale Earnhardt Jr. We talked to him post-race. He mentioned it being a possibility. He is aware of the fact that there is something that needs to change, and those changes may have some pushback, but they're necessary. But we would be remiss if we didn't talk about his night. Solid qualifying effort, not anything special. It's about what we've come to expect from Dale in a late model stock car. He's not a hot laps guy. Let's just say that. He doesn't put down a flyer. But he races well, and he worked his way forward. He was running, I believe, 5th at the time when Carson Lofton misses a shift, and his night's over. So 21st tonight for Dale at Cordele Motor Speedway. Had to throw that one in there, and I think that's just about going to do it for us. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunate end for Dale. Obviously, that's the reason a lot of fans came out tonight, and he was the one who kind of spearheaded getting back to Cordele. But it's the classic line: stats don't tell the whole story. He wasn't running towards the very front, but he was here tonight, and the fans sure knew it, and the drivers sure knew it, especially towards the end when he was running in the top 5. But man, this was my first race of the year for Frontstretch. Good to be back at the track, but man, Cordele, I like I said, what an experience. This was a great race, great night to be out at a track like this. man, I hope they put it back on the schedule for 24 because this is all around a great racetrack.
Beautiful facility, great racing. Just got to clean up the cautions a little bit and we'll have a perfect product. For Anthony Damcott, I've been Chase Folsom. Next 2 weeks' time, we will be at Orange County Speedway for the return of the Cars Tour. But for now, support your local short tracks. Have a good night. Hey race fans, I'm Chase Folsom with Frontstretch.com. If you enjoyed the short track video you just watched, please be sure to subscribe to Frontstretch Grassroots on YouTube for more Cars Tour, ARCA, and other grassroots racing. Check out Frontstretch.com for all your racing needs.